Imagine seeing someone you've known for years, and yet, for a fleeting moment, your mind blanks. That's exactly what happened when Benedict met Sophie. And no one could help but ask, why didn't he recognize her? Was it really that simple? Or was something more happening beneath the surface? Today, we're diving into this mysterious moment from Bridgerton, uncovering the reasons behind Benedict's confusion, the podcast insights that reveal the truth, and even some fan theories that might shock you. By the end of this video, you'll see this scene in a whole new light and maybe even start questioning everything you thought you knew about these characters. Asterisk, before we can understand why Benedict didn't recognize Sophie, we need to go back and look at the events that led to this moment. Sophie, one of the show's most clever and intriguing characters, had gone through a series of changes that made her almost unrecognizable to anyone who had last seen her in a very different context. In the world of Bridgerton, appearances and social expectations matter more than we might realize, and the way a character presents themselves can completely alter how they are perceived. When Benedict encountered Sophie in this particular scene, he was not seeing the Sophie he remembered. Her appearance, her demeanor, and even the timing of the encounter all combined to create a moment of genuine confusion. But it isn't just about appearances. Bridgerton has always been a show where emotional context matters as much as visual recognition. Benedict's memory of Sophie isn't just tied to her face, it's tied to the moments he shared with her, the emotions he felt, and the way he thought of her in the past. If those moments were interrupted or distorted by time or circumstance, it can explain why recognition didn't happen immediately. On top of that, the series often plays with the idea that characters can hide things, even unintentionally, making it harder for others to recognize who they are at a glance. The podcast episode that discusses this scene points out another interesting layer. Sometimes recognition is as much about what we want to see as what is actually there. Benedict may have been distracted by other pressing matters, or even by his own assumptions about where Sophie should be and who she should have become. When someone doesn't fit the picture we painted in our minds, it can take longer for the brain to connect the dots. Sophie's cleverness, her subtle changes, and even the way she carried herself may have been enough to create a small but critical delay in Benedict's recognition. This isn't just a minor detail in the story, it's a deliberate choice by the writers and the podcast team to highlight how easily appearances can mislead and how much of recognition is actually about context, timing, and expectation. By examining the scene closely, we can start to understand that Benedict's confusion wasn't a mistake, but a carefully crafted moment that blends character development with social nuance. It's a reminder that in Bridgerton, nothing is ever as simple as it seems, and even a single glance can carry layers of meaning if we know where to look. Asterisk, the moment Benedict lays eyes on Sophie is more than just a simple reunion. It's a collision of memory, expectation, and subtle deception. He doesn't just glance at her. The camera, or in our faceless version, the narration paints the tension. Benedict's eyes flicker with curiosity, a spark of recognition that almost ignites. But it's immediately masked by hesitation. Sophie stands before him, familiar, yet transformed. It isn't just her hair, her dress, or her posture, it's the way she moves, the way she carries herself, the quiet confidence she radiates. All these small details create a dissonance between who Benedict remembers and who Sophie has become. In this scene, the show deliberately plays with angles and pauses. Benedict's hesitation is drawn out, emphasizing the split second where his brain struggles to process what he's seeing. The subtle tilt of Sophie's head, the calm in her eyes, and the gentle smile she gives could easily trigger recognition, but Benedict's mind is clouded by assumptions. Perhaps he expected Sophie to appear as the timid, familiar girl of his past, not the composed, assured woman now standing in front of him. This clash between expectation and reality is key to understanding why he doesn't immediately recognize her. The official podcast offers insight into the writer's intention here. They suggest that Benedict's delayed recognition is a reflection of how deeply human memory works. We often see what we expect to see, not what's actually there. His mind briefly hesitates, filling in gaps with past images of Sophie, only to be challenged by the person before him. It's a subtle nod to how memory and perception can betray us. Even in moments of clarity, the tension in this encounter isn't just dramatic, it's psychological, layered with emotion and social context. Fans have noticed, too, that Benedict's body language tells a story all on its own. There's a stiffness in his shoulders, a slight pause in his breathing, a flicker of uncertainty in his gaze. Every micro-expression hints that he's close to recognition but still held back. Whether by disbelief, surprise, or even his own pride. Meanwhile, Sophie's serene composure contrasts sharply with his internal struggle, making the scene feel almost like a dance, one of anticipation, hesitation, and silent revelation. This carefully crafted moment leaves viewers questioning whether Benedict truly doesn't recognize Sophie or whether he's choosing, for a fleeting moment, not to let himself admit it. Benedict's hesitation isn't just a simple lapse, it's a masterful interplay of disguise, timing, and perception that the show uses to add depth to his character. Sophie isn't wearing a mask in the literal sense, but in the world of Bridgerton, appearances are everything, and small changes can drastically alter how someone is perceived. The way Sophie presents herself, her hairstyle, her clothing, even the way she speaks signals confidence and maturity, traits Benedict may not have fully associated with the Sophie he remembers. When we think about recognition, it's not just about facial features. It's about patterns, movement, and the context we've stored in our minds. Sophie's transformation disrupted all of these patterns, leaving Benedict's mind momentarily stalled. Timing also plays a crucial role in this scene. Benedict is caught between surprise and expectation. He wasn't prepared for Sophie to appear at this precise moment, and in the chaos of social interaction, our brains often fail to register details that don't align with what we anticipate. The podcast emphasizes that the writers intentionally crafted this moment to highlight human perception. We see not just with our eyes, but through memory filtered by emotion and expectation. Benedict's initial confusion is therefore not a flaw in him, it's a reflection of how real people process unexpected encounters. There's also a subtle psychological layer at play. Benedict may have subconsciously hesitated to recognize Sophie because doing so could force an emotional confrontation he wasn't ready for. Recognition isn't always instantaneous when emotion is involved. Sometimes the heart slows the brain. The podcast notes that moments like these are designed to mirror real-life interactions where familiarity clashes with personal growth, leaving characters and viewers questioning what they see. Sophie, calm and poised, contrasts sharply with Benedict's internal tension, making the delay in recognition feel both natural and suspenseful. Finally, social context cannot be ignored. Bridgerton's world thrives on etiquette, appearances, and the subtle dance of reputation. Benedict's split-second delay also reflects his awareness of the social setting. A sudden, overt display of recognition might be inappropriate or scandalous. By blending appearance, timing, psychology, and social expectation, the scene becomes a layered puzzle rather than a simple plot point. Every subtle glance, pause, and flicker of emotion is a deliberate storytelling choice, showing that in Bridgerton, the moment we think is just recognition is actually a complex tapestry of human perception, expectation, and restraint. When Benedict's hesitation went public on screen, fans exploded with theories. Social media lit up with speculation. Some viewers insisted he must have recognized Sophie instantly, but was holding back for pride or strategy, while others argued that her transformation was simply too subtle to trigger immediate recognition. Reddit threads, Twitter posts, and comment sections became mini psychology labs, with fans dissecting every movement, every flicker of Benedict's expression, and every nuanced glance Sophie gave. Some even argued that this moment mirrored real-life experiences. How often do we fail to recognize someone familiar when they've changed in ways small or profound? The fan reaction alone highlights just how well this scene resonates. It's relatable, suspenseful, and emotionally layered. The official Bridgerton podcast added another layer of intrigue. The hosts pointed out that Benedict's pause wasn't a writing oversight, it was intentional, designed to reflect the tension between memory and reality. They revealed behind-the-scenes insights. The actors were instructed to subtly hint at recognition without overtly acknowledging it, making viewers share in Benedict's internal struggle. This approach transforms a seemingly simple glance into a moment of suspense, inviting the audience to fill in the gaps with their own interpretations. It's storytelling that doesn't just show the story, it makes the audience experience it firsthand. Another fascinating fan theory explores the emotional stakes. Some viewers propose that Benedict's hesitation is as much about fear as it is about recognition. Acknowledging Sophie might force him to confront feelings he's long buried: regret, longing, or even the weight of unspoken history. Meanwhile, Sophie's calm, composed demeanor contrasts with Benedict's hesitation, almost daring him to bridge the gap between memory and reality. This duality keeps viewers on edge, sparking discussions that range from lighthearted memes to deep emotional analysis. Ultimately, this scene exemplifies why Bridgerton continues to captivate. It's not just about drama or romance, it's about the human mind, the subtleties of perception, and the rich layers of character psychology, fan theories, reactions. And the podcast insights converge to show that Benedict's moment of confusion is a carefully crafted emotional puzzle. By combining social expectation, memory, and personal growth, the show creates a single glance that feels alive, unpredictable, and utterly human for fans. Dissecting this moment isn't just entertainment, it's an invitation to explore the delicate interplay between who we are, who we think we know, and who we actually see. Benedict's moment of hesitation with Sophie isn't just a fleeting glance, it's a mirror reflecting the complexity of human perception, memory, and emotion. By the time the scene ends, viewers are left with more questions than answers. And that's exactly the point. Recognition in Bridgerton isn't about instant clarity. It's about the intricate dance between who we remember, who someone has become, and the unspoken tension that exists between the two. Benedict's pause isn't failure, it's storytelling at its finest. A silent acknowledgement that understanding another person often requires more than just looking. The writers, directors, and even the podcast hosts cleverly remind us that appearances can mislead, emotions can cloud judgment, and expectations can distort reality. Every subtle gesture, every fraction of a second where Benedict hesitates, invites us to step inside his mind and experience that internal struggle. The beauty of this scene is how it bridges the fictional and the relatable. Fans across social media have shared their own moments of hesitation, times when someone familiar suddenly feels different, or when a change in demeanor, style, or confidence temporarily clouds recognition. By connecting Benedict's confusion to real-life experiences, the show elevates a single encounter into a universal human story, one that resonates far beyond the walls of Bridgerton's grand ballrooms. It's not just a plot point. It's a reflection of the subtle complexities in every social interaction we navigate. To make it even more exciting, the official podcast teases that the tension between Sophie and Benedict is far from resolved. There are hints that future episodes will explore whether Benedict's delayed recognition leads to reconciliation, revelation, or perhaps even more misunderstandings. This lingering suspense keeps audiences hooked, turning a moment of hesitation into the fuel for ongoing speculation, discussion, and fan theory creation. Every glance, every pause, and every unspoken word becomes an invitation for viewers to analyze, theorize, and immerse themselves further in the story. While Benedict may not have recognized Sophie immediately, the scene accomplishes something far more powerful. It sparks curiosity, fuels discussion, and reminds us that in Bridgerton, what is left unsaid can be just as compelling as what is spoken. As the next episode unfolds, audiences are left on the edge of their seats, wondering not just about recognition, but about the emotional truths hidden behind every glance, every gesture, and every carefully crafted moment. And that's what makes Bridgerton more than a drama. It's an experience, a puzzle, and a story that continues to captivate long after the screen goes dark. Benedict's fleeting moment of not recognizing Sophie is more than a simple lapse. It's a carefully crafted mirror of human complexity. By now, it's clear that recognition in Bridgerton is rarely straightforward. It's not about spotting a familiar face. It's about reconciling memory, expectation, and the subtle evolution of identity. Sophie's quiet transformation challenges Benedict and the audience to pause and consider, how often do we see people as they truly are versus the versions we've stored in our minds? Every hesitation, every flicker of doubt isn't a plot hole. It's a deliberate invitation to step into the nuanced world of perception where emotion, timing, and social context intertwine. The scene also highlights Bridgerton's brilliance in blending drama with psychological realism. Benedict's moment isn't just about Sophie, it's about him. His hesitation reflects pride, surprise, and the unspoken tension of confronting change. Sophie, on the other hand, embodies quiet confidence, subtly testing how others perceive her. This delicate balance between internal conflict and external composure turns a brief encounter into a rich narrative canvas, one that fans and scholars alike can analyze endlessly. And it's precisely this layering that makes the series end. Moments like this so endlessly watchable. Looking ahead, the official Bridgerton podcast hints at more revelations. Benedict's delayed recognition may be the first ripple in a series of emotional waves yet to come. How will this moment shape his decisions? Will Sophie leverage this pause to her advantage? Or will it lead to deeper misunderstandings? These unanswered questions fuel fan theories, debates, and speculation, keeping the Bridgerton universe alive far beyond the screen. For creators and viewers alike, it's a reminder that every glance, pause, or subtle expression is loaded with meaning. The drama isn't just in what happens, it's in what almost happens, what's left unsaid, and the tension that lingers between characters. As we reflect on this, one thing becomes clear: Bridgerton isn't just about romance or intrigue. It's about the human experience itself. The delayed recognition between Benedict and Sophie encourages us to notice the subtleties in our own interactions, to question assumptions, and to appreciate the layers behind every relationship. And as the story unfolds in future episodes and podcast discussions, we're left with the thrill of anticipation, knowing that the next glance, the next subtle exchange, could reveal worlds of unspoken truths. In the end, this moment reminds us that in Bridgerton, the most powerful stories are often told in silence, hesitation, and the spaces between what we see and what we feel. Benedict's fleeting hesitation in recognizing Sophie isn't just a plot device, it's a moment that lingers in the mind long after the scene fades. It reminds us that Bridgerton isn't only about grand gestures or dramatic reveals. It's about the subtle intricacies of human perception, the tension between memory and reality, and the quiet power of change. In that single glance, we witness how much emotion, expectation, and social context can shape what we see. It's a scene that teaches us recognition isn't always instant, understanding takes time, and even the smallest pauses can carry immense weight. This moment also reflects on the broader theme of growth, both personal and relational. Sophie's transformation isn't just physical, it's emotional, intellectual, and social. Benedict's delayed recognition forces both characters and viewers to acknowledge that people evolve, and sometimes we need to pause to truly see them. It's a lesson in patience, awareness, and empathy, cleverly woven into the story without a single line of exposition. Fans and podcast listeners alike have celebrated this nuance, analyzing micro-expressions, body language, and the delicate interplay between characters, proving that even the quietest moments in Bridgerton can spark passionate discussion. Looking forward, this scene sets the stage for what's to come. The podcast teases that Benedict and Sophie's journey is far from over, hinting at emotional confrontations, unspoken truths, and moments of revelation that will challenge both characters' perceptions of each other. For viewers, this creates a sense of anticipation, encouraging theories, debates, and engagement long after the episode ends. The tension built in that one glance is enough to fuel speculation about character choices, relationships, and the unfolding narrative. In the end, Benedict's hesitation is more than a missed recognition. It's storytelling at its finest. It invites reflection, discussion, and curiosity, while subtly highlighting the depth of character development that Bridgerton consistently delivers. As we move into the next podcast episode and future seasons, audiences are left with a powerful reminder. In Bridgerton, the most profound moments are often the quiet ones, the pauses, the glances, and the spaces where words fail but emotions speak volumes. This is the magic of the series, and it's exactly why we keep watching, analyzing, and falling in love with every nuance.